Hi everyone, Heather Williams here with the California AfterSchool Network, and I'm joined by Michael Funk from the California Department of Education, Expanded Learning Division, and we are here for a quick fireside chat today. As you all know, we usually have a special guest, and today we have a very special guest who's going to join us for a moment. Janae.
Hi.
What's your name?
My name is Janae.
Do you have something you want to share with us, Janae?
I like my after school program because I like recess.
Oh.
And you like playing on the playground equipment and getting active and physical,
Yes.
and you sometimes make things.
Yes.
And it's a STEAM. What does that mean? What do you do? What kind of activities?
I play with my friends.
Yeah, that's what we all miss, playing with our friends, right?
Yes.
It's been a long time since you've been to your after school program. So guess who's the after school program director now? You're sitting on his lap.
Oh.
Your dad's in charge of after school now.
After school, recess, all that stuff. That's what you do, right?
Yes.
All right. Thanks for coming on the show, Janae. Say goodbye to everybody.
Bye.
Okay. Shut the door, please.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Well, great to have a special guest join us today. Remind us all why we're doing this work.
Heather, as you know, I told Heather this. I didn't have any Zoom calls earlier today, and she came into my office twice and said, "When's your next meeting?" I said, "I don't have one for a while." She says, "I want to interrupt it." So now she's excited that she's going to be on the fireside chat. So thank you, Heather.
Yes, happy to make that happen. So with that, though, we can transition. There's some breaking news that I know you want to share with the field that will hopefully be exciting news for most of our grantees.
Yeah, I have some very good news. Just got confirmation this morning that we are going to extend the grants for 2021 for 6 months. So the grants for the current year, both ACES, 21st Century Elementary Middle assets, will all be extended to December 31st with the same requirements of last year. They'll have to be accounted for separately from the grants that will come in at July 1 this year for the school year 21-22. So you'll have 21-22 as always starting on July 1, and whatever unspent funds you've had from the grant year 2021, this current year, you'll have an additional 6 months to expend those. We will be sending out an AO 400 grant agreement to the grantees, and it'll lay out the conditions on the AO 400. And we had a little bit of difficulty getting those sent back. And of course, that was everyone was scrambling then, and it was a very unsettling time in the pandemic. And we hope things are a little bit more settled now. But we still don't know, of course, when schools will resume, what that will look like. I want to make sure I talk about why, because why is our students, our children, desperately need as much support. It's the same reason we extended them last year. It's because we want you to think about these resources and how you can make sure that our students in California receive the very best we have to offer and get this kind of supports and opportunities to really help them as they come back together in some form at some time. And so it's very important to our governor and our superintendent that we, especially this summer, do as much as we can. We've talked about that in terms of the last fireside chat. We'll give an update on the governor's budget and AB 104 at the end of the fireside chat. But we want to be able to pour as much resource into supporting the children as we can. And so we'll talk more about that. Now, for those that, I'll just also mention for those that are tuning in that are part of the system of support for expanded learning, that also counts for your grant funding as well, and also for the Frontier Transportation grants. So all of any ACEs, any 21st century elementary, middle, any asset funding, whether it's used for the system of support or for direct programs. So that's the big news. The other important news is I submitted Friday proposal to our governmental affairs to start negotiating with Department of Finance to provide programs with the same program flexibility that we provided you this year. And that means certain sections of Ed Code were waived in part of the Trader Bill, SB 98. We've submitted the same sections of Ed Code to be waived with one additional portion of Ed Code. And I'm going to hold off until I get a few more days into the process. There's a lot of back and forth with Trader Bill negotiation right now, and also the governor's budget. We know that's important. We've been hearing from many people who are doing the right thing. They're saying, we're trying to plan for the summer. We're trying to plan for what we can do after July 1. And of course, all the current flexibility is set to expire on June 30th. So I received feedback on Sunday on what I submitted on Friday. They asked for more information and some context and some clarification and some examples on how the flexibility was used, which I was able to provide from a lot of the stories that we've heard from you in the field. And in part because the Super Bowl wasn't that exciting, I was able to finish that last night and submit it yesterday evening. So we'll keep you posted as that goes through. I just want you to know we're working on that very seriously, and I'm very optimistic. So those are the two important updates, Heather.
Great. And I think that flags for me the survey that was sent out last week to the field. And there's some very key questions in there that ask, what program flexibility did you use? What program flexibility would be important moving forward? And so if you haven't had an opportunity to take that survey yet, I would highly recommend that as many folks in the field can, because that data is actually going to be in turn used for, when Michael has to go write up something and provide information. He also has a survey where he can point to, we had half of our field respond and they said this flexibility was crucial to be able to do the work. So another plug for that survey. It only takes about 10 or 15 minutes. We are hoping that can be done at the district level. There will be a link in the chat to have folks be able to fill that out. So with that though, want to move back into the budget. There's a lot of questions about the budget, about AB 104. There's a lot of stuff moving really quickly. So Michael, just any updates you can share with folks about that process?
Yeah, very quickly. And I want to amplify what you said about the survey, Heather, because it's likely that I'll be just exactly as Heather described, needing to submit more specifics in writing and likely be in more than one conversation with different entities. And ultimately, they'll be in dialogue with the Assembly and the Senate staff to finalize this language. And so we need stories. We need the information. We need to tell very specifically what good things happened with programs, with kids, with families and communities because this flexibility was provided. So take the survey, please. And with that, there's really no update from the last Fireside chat. We've still got the proposal in the governor's budget for expanded learning time and summer school. We've got AB 104. There was a hearing a week ago today on the Senate side, and the governor's budget item for expanded learning time and summer school came up. We had prepared lots of dialogue and comments. That section on the hearing was very short, and it was explained that there will be some new language coming. I was thinking it might have come last week, maybe this week. It's going to move fast. In the meantime, I still recommend that you use the language in Assembly Bill 104. and be involved in conversation with your community partners. If you're a community partner with your school district, the grantee, if you're a school district with your community partner. And Heather, you have maybe a resource people can use.
Yeah, LA County Office of Education, their expanded learning unit actually put together a 4-page PDF. It's a really great document. That's a planning tool that walks through some of that language and questions for folks to reflect on as they're planning for that. Even if things shift or there's new language, different language, it's in the budget trailer bill instead of AB 104. Those questions are all still very relevant and can help with planning. And so that link will also be in the chat. So when you are looking through the resources from this Fireside chat, then you can kind of click on that link and look through that and use that as a resource. We mentioned this on the last Fireside chat. There's the emphasis on the local planning and implementation cannot be said enough. There will be, we will do as much as we can at the statewide level to support that work, but there's going to be a lot of local conversations that need to happen. So this is a great tool to start those conversations if you haven't already.
Yeah, and thank you. We chatted about this right before we started recording, Heather, and we both agreed that even if AB 104 language is changed in some way or doesn't end up being the bill that implements the budget item or any number of things, don't be too worried about that, because the kind of questions that are posed in the planning tool are the questions that need to be discussed, whether it's AB 104 or something else. So use it as a catalyst and for your own thinking, your own inquiry, and your own discussion. So
with that, like we said, quick chat. And so kind of the last plug for the chat is our site coordinator symposium, which starts tomorrow. We're very excited. We have nearly 700 folks registered. We still have space if you haven't registered yet. Michael, I think you are representing with your t-shirt if you want to show off what you're wearing.
This is Get Connected, Get Inspired, Join the Movement. It's the site coordinator. What is the official name? The site
coordinator symposium. A state of opportunity is this year's theme. And Michael, you're going to be joining us over the next few days, kicking us off tomorrow with the Site Coordinator Network leadership team, and then also having a good conversation with Tiffany from the CAN team, as well as Tony Smith later in the week on Thursday. So we're very excited to have you there, and the site coordinator is very excited to be able to have that opportunity to chat with you. So Michael, anything you want to say about the symposium before?
I'm very excited about it. I'm especially excited the way we're going to open it up in conversation with 4 or 5 site coordinators who are so passionate, and it's just going to be a wonderful opportunity. So looking forward to it.
Great. Well, with that pretty much wraps up our Fireside chat. So you'll find links to everything we talked about in the chat once it's posted, but we just, again, encourage you to connect in different ways. Symposium, have your voice heard in the survey, use the planning tool, start conversations now at the local level. We cannot express how important it is to start those conversations now, so you're prepared when the funding comes out. And with that, Michael, I'll turn it over to you to close us out.
Yeah, two important pieces of advice. First of all, get a lock for the door on your home office. That's the most important. And second, lead with love. Let's do it. Thanks, Heather.
Thanks, Michael. Thanks, Janae.